That's a lot of vamping we just did.
Yeah. So we should probably get to the movie. Levi, very appropriate attire today. No theme this month, but today we're going to be talking about Swashbuckler, 1976. This is directed by James Goldstone, a very prolific television director, like very well-respected director. I struggled to think of like a signature piece or a feature film that's like his marquee, like top hit or whatever, but he's worked with the best, both on TV and film. And this film I stumbled across because Kino is putting out a Blu-ray release of it imminently. And as soon as I saw the cover art and equally important, the cast list, I was like, I know who needs to see this, and I know who I need to talk with about this. So I sent a picture of it directly to Levi on Discord, and he was like, what is this? Why don't I have it? I need it now. So Levi found it. We both watched it, and today we're going to be talking about it. So Swashbuckler, 1976,
Swashbuckler,
starring Robert Shaw and featuring James Earl Jones and Peter Boyle and Angelica Houston in a non-verbal role. Baron Samedi is in this film.
Will Bridges is in this film
as a Britishman, as an Englishman, no less. Yeah, the cast.
Sam Haig. Is it Sam Haig?
Sid Haig.
Sid Haig. He's there.
Captain Spaulding is in this fucking film. If you're a fan, and I know you are, of Predator 2, Scorpio is ready. Henry Kingi.
I knew I recognized that guy, but I couldn't place him.
My dad coined the term that guy, as in like the guy that Steven Seagal has killed, the guy that Jean-Claude Van Damme has killed, the guy that Robert De Niro shot in Ronin or whatever. One of those guys. Henry Kingi is like one of the kings of that guys. And yes, he is most certainly in this film, and he most certainly gets killed by Peter Boyle. So, Levi, I'll bring you into the conversation. Swashbuckler. First impressions, thoughts.
There's a nice fire siren going off. They test it every day at noon here on Saturdays, so that's how you know when we're recording. I saw the poster and I'm like, give it to me. Give me all of it. Sign me up.
Injected into my veins.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And of course, archive.org is the greatest streaming service of all time. And it is up there. Here's something I discovered, Trevor. It's also on YouTube in full for free. So, catching up on Cinema Land. Go watch this movie. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Give yourself a nice Saturday matinee time. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It is it's not fine cinema. It's not something that will be discussed over and over again. If it's any indication, this movie was made off of the success of Richard Lester's The Three Musketeers, which is also not fine cinema, but it's fun. It's like, so this movie was made because there was an appetite for swashbucklers going around, and they're like, well, that movie made a lot of money. This movie made no money, and everyone hated it. And critics were far too harsh to it. Leonard Maltin gave it the worst possible ranking he could give, which is bomb. This movie did not do well. It is sandwiched between Robert Shaw. His last 3 movies are all C movies. Jaws 75, this in 76, The Deep in 77, and then he expired.
'Twas the sea
And-
that killed him.
Yeah, exactly. And to which he was returned. And it's like, so this is kind of a weird, like, this is Robert Shaw near the end of his career. This is James Earl Jones, like, at the beginning of his cinematic career. This is, of course, just before Star Wars. It is Peter Boyle doing whatever the hell Peter Boyle is doing in this movie.
He was given 3 different scripts, I'm guessing, because his character varies wildly from scene to scene.
I am so happy he's here. But so this is at a very strange place in cinematic history, but it's also at a perfect place. It's at a place where we were willing to throw a lot of money at a film like this. And we have all practical effects, and we have a big cast of people that are not quite as big as they were, or not quite as big as they will be. So we got a lot of bona fides, and there's a lot of money swirling around. And we are making these big, grand movies because it's New Hollywood. And we have all the techniques of New Hollywood and all the language of it and everything. We got widescreen, so it looks crazier than any of the old Swashbucklers ever did. Because they got more money, full color, widescreen, big sets, everything. So this movie has a lot going for it. Critics hated it, and it made no money. That is not indicative of its quality at all, in my opinion. What we have here is a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed my time with this one too. It's certainly not a classic of the genre, nor of the minor resurgence of the genre in this era. As Levi said, this was inspired by the success of Richard Lester's The Three Musketeers. I want to say there was something, I mean, all manner of drugs is the answer, but there was something in the water in the 1960s and 1970s where this particular kind of like colorful farce was style at the time. Big pie fight, basically. like if you make it colorful enough, if you give it enough energy and it ends with a big pie fight, or it features 3 pie fights, some people will get coked out and go watch it and they'll have a good time. This checks all those boxes. It does have high energy. It does deliver on the buckling of swashes. The cast is truly incredible when you look back on it. Like in the moment, I'm not so sure if that was the case. But it's funny because it does suffer from the Doc Savage problem, I want to say, where it's like it's part of a trend. A small trend in the resurgence of swashbucklers and whatnot, but it's also pre-Raiders of the Lost Ark. So like the serials and the pulp stuff we weren't quite there. So it's like it kind of exactly the wrong time. But it's kind of a neat little gem of a film. Like you're not going to be disappointed when you put it on. Mostly because of the aforementioned energy level. Nobody's phoning it in. There's a lot of movement. It does get slightly soggy in the middle when we try to get more serious, and the plot veers more towards like the revenge aspect of things involving the female lead. But it's buoyed by some really fun, really lengthy action sequences. There's a duel at the end of this film that I took very limited notes on this one. All of them are just small jabs and like gags about the film, but the duel at the end of the film tops They Live in its excessiveness, and I'm of course referring to John Carpenter's They Live with Keith David and Rowdy Roddy Piper having a fist fight in an alley over a pair of sunglasses for 5 fucking minutes.
I think it's longer, isn't it? Like 8?
I clocked it. It's almost 8 minutes. It's insane. It's like, why is this? I mean, I'm not complaining. I've always said if I was a filmmaker, regardless of genre, every film I ever make is going to end with a 10-minute fist fight. Where it's like, I'll make a rom-com and the last 10 minutes of it is just going to be a big barroom brawl or something for no real reason other than to check that personal box. But yeah, there's a lot to like here. And the production values are interesting, actually, because we actually have a legitimate ship that is actually listed on IMDb as a character, which is actually really cute. Like, they treat it like an animal, kind of, where it's what was it? The Golden Hind stands in for the Blarney Cock, which is Robert Shaw, Ned Lynch's ship in this film. It's a little unfortunate that the port town is represented by a single road, of which we only see one angle of it, but it's facing out to the sea, so there's a logistical reason why we only get that one angle, but it is a little repetitive seeing that one tracking shot over and over and over again. But yeah, there's a lot of highlights. It starts off pretty fun with a lot more dialogue-based humor, and then it starts to transition more towards action and sight gag-based humor. There's some really nifty stunts, in particular in the middle portion of the film. And then it ends up, being a madcap, crazy, slightly comedic adventure film. But I just need to reference my notes here, and there's I'll just read them off. So, one, in the opening, world's most accurate black powder cannons.
Yes,
because they managed to stop a hanging via black powder cannons from their ship to the shore. They don't. Beau Bridges is only badly burned. You see, he's not dead. They just scrape him with the cannons. And also ecto cooler in the bath. There's a gentleman who's pouring ecto cooler into that bath, and we don't often do this on Catching Up on Cinema, but if you're privy to the video form of this, I'm sorry, Levi, but the people need to know. Peter Boyle in this film. Peter Boyle has been bald since birth. He has looked like young Frankenstein his entire life. I'm pretty sure Joe, the Joe movie, where he is at his Peter Boyle-iest, was before.
Great movie, by the way.
Excellent movie.
Nuts
really rough
movie.
Yeah, nuts movie. Really great performance. Really great film, but not for everybody, for sure. But his visage in this film, though, Levi, are you ready for this? This is immediately what came to mind. I'm gonna try it. There it is. Will Sasso on Mad TV as Steven Seagal. It is a 1-to-1.
I was going to say he looks like the in-between of Tommy Wiseau and Top Dollar from The Crow, but
I don't think anybody can top that. I'm sorry.
But
the ponytail.
That's remarkable. That is a remarkable resemblance.
Even his attire.
And the fact that he's built like Peter Boyle.
Built like Peter Boyle. It's
unbelievable. That's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it made me laugh. That made me happy. But
yeah, I like his. Is it Charlie Heaton, the older brother on Stranger Things?
I think so. I'm not good with the names of those actors.
It's and his lover, henchman is looks like a mixture between Cole Sprouse and Charlie Heaton, with a Richard Simmons haircut.
Yeah.
And he wears lavender tights the whole movie.
He minces down the stairs. That is his final act, by the way, is mincing down the stairs.
It is remarkable.
Yeah. What is this?
Could
you explain the finger thing?
They're not sharp enough to be threatening. So, okay. To explain to the audience.
Sure.
Peter Boyle, so this is the crux of the, like, let's outline a little bit of the film.
Sure.
Robert Shaw is a pirate captain in the vicinity of the Caribbean. There is an island that is being lorded over by Peter Boyle's character, Lord Durant, which makes me think of Robert G. Durant from Darkman.
Yeah.
Peter Boyle lords over, and of course he's a jerk because of course he is. And he also looks like Will Sasso as Steven Seagal. And Robert Shaw is playing like the roguish pirate who's outside the law. And his crew has James Earl Jones on it. Then sort of they're drawing into just being like we're kind of a thorn in the side of the government of this island. What draws them in is there is a young woman. Her father holds position on the island and is thrown in prison, and she wants to get him out and ends up coming into contact with Shaw's character. And the pirates and everything, so they get pulled in, and then it's all out war. So Peter Boyle has a multifarious relationship. Because here's the thing, they play kind of coy with it at first, to a point that I was like, is that? Maybe I'm just drawing connections. It's the 70s. There is a rather waifish Cole Sprouse looking young man with his Richard Simmons haircut, who is in while Peter Boyle is being groomed and bathing, and he's playing the lute softly. And then when Beau Bridges fails at getting the pirates, he is brought in and stripped down from the waist up. And then the minion, the Cole Sprouse kid, comes out with like metal fingertips, which we're supposed to believe are sharp, and that he's like supposed to be like it's a form of torture or something. The problem is they are very clearly blunted and have like square edges, and we can see that. They
look like shoehorns.
Yeah, they're very strange looking. Yes. And I'm like, and the problem is that with the cut that we're doing and the way that the torture is shot, we don't actually see them doing anything. So we're not entirely sure what it is, but it is implied that he is a master with these slip-on sharp claws. So that's a thing. And then it is later established in the third act, Boyle and the kid are in the bath together. So you're like, okay. And then somebody throws out, like pederast.
Yeah.
Which was, yeah, which is was a relationship between mentor and student in ancient times that typically ended up being homosexual in nature. Apparently it's overstated how often that happened. Apparently it was not nearly as prominent as it has been said previously. Like, there's still debate over how prominent it was. Anyways, it's weird. And his weird metal fingers are ill-defined. And we don't know what, we have to infer that they're sharp. And then in the third act, he comes running down the stairs, gets tripped by a pillow, and stabs himself with them.
Yeah, he pulls a Wayne's World. He pulls a Garth, and he falls on his keys. But he dies from it. It's pretty pathetic. But that whole torture sequence, is very long. and features Beau Bridges being asked to strip garment by garment. If you're into that, it feels
it's for somebody.
It's for somebody. The bow is for somebody. A bow is somebody's bow. But it feels like Bond-esque, I guess, especially from this vintage, like especially in the Roger Moore era, where it's like that brand of kookiness was kind of welcome. It feels like Diamonds Are Forever or some shit, but even Diamonds Are Forever had some teeth to it.
We have 3 Bond villains in this movie.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Like we got several Bond villains because we got Shaw, Baron de Samedi, and I think one of the guys on the crew was also a Bond villain. I think in like License to Kill or something later on.
I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest. I recognized Shaw from Russia with Love. That was one of my first Bond movies that he was introduced to me. I think from that movie. Even
he's
before
awesome in that.
Oh, he's incredible. My dad sat me down and we watched that, and he was like, "This guy's awesome." And I was like, "Yes, father, he is." I like this man. Baron Samedi, to anybody who's ever played GoldenEye on the N64. Is an unlockable character in that one, was featured in Live and Let Die, Roger Moore's first outing as Bond, as big guy who laughs and has face paint. I don't remember him having any real bearing on the plot other than that.
He's on the front of the train at the end, and he's like, aha!
He's very Pennywise-esque. His teeth and his bone structure is very Pennywise. Like if you put that half face paint that he had, if you did the whole face and you put a red wig on him, that would work.
Yeah.
Kiss me, fat boy.
I am very impressed with it's kind of funny with this cast because this entire cast is like almost entirely classically trained Shakespearean actors who are really knocking it out of the park. Like it the guy who played Baron Samedi, his character in this film is Cujo. Cujo is awesome and has a great visual design and just looks really neat. And it's a very fun performance. He's like kind of this roguish knife thrower. But the thing is, he has the knives hanging all over him, and he's like he has like almost like a torque up top that holds all of the knives, and then he has knives on his belt, but everything else is pretty much bare. But he has this big long cape and hood, and he wears these small circular glasses, and it's a very neat design. I find it very appealing. And his performance makes me want to see more of this guy's work doing actual performances. Because he's very fun to watch in this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd only really seen him as Baron Samedi, so I didn't really have the pleasure of seeing him as a performer. But the actor's name, and this is me referencing the internet, I didn't know this off the top of my head, but his name is Jeffrey Holder. And he was born in Trinidad. Let me see if there's any other stuff that jumps out at me. Did a lot of voice work. Was in Boomerang of all things. Not a whole lot of credits, but I guess he was a dancer and a choreographer. So maybe he was more of a behind the camera or like a behind the scenes kind of guy rather than a performer. But yeah, he's very charismatic. And yeah, like you said, the design of him is really fun. I like his proper introduction to the cast where he and James Earl Jones inform Robert Shaw that's like, oh yeah, we've been buddies for a long time, but then, we just parted ways. That was that. It's like, but I'm back now. So like he has that roguish quality to him where it's like, I'll intercede in all this drama when I choose to. And it works out for everybody. But he's introduced visually very early on in the film as like an observer to the almost like it's like a prison break sequence, except they're intercepting a hanging of James Earl Jones' character. He's just an observer though in that moment. By the way, I'm just gonna bounce into my notes whenever I see fit. James says James Earl Jones has the bad guy from Samurai Jack on his vest.
Yes.
The face on his back.
Yeah. He has Mako. He has Mako on the back of his vest.
Yeah, I think the character's name was like Aku or something.
Yeah.
I never watched Samurai Jack, but Genndy Tartakovsky is. I know his work. Really talented guy. Really amazing storyboard artist. I remember my friend who works in the game industry. I remember him telling me, as like a concept artist or something. He told me that the cherry blossom garden action sequence at the end of Iron Man 2. You get the reference, Levi?
Yeah.
There's that 360 shot where it's War Machine and Iron Man just wrecking house. My friend told me, it's like, by the way, that was storyboarded by Genndy Tartakovsky. I was like, yeah. Like I didn't know that, but I knew that. That was a fun little revelation where it's like, yeah, it's always cool when an artist has a identifiable style.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Angelica Houston is here for nepotism and bone structure, because I don't think she has a line. And her character in the credits has a hilarious name. It's just, I think, Woman of Dark Visage. She's just in Peter Boyle's scenes. She's like Lady Death to Thanos, basically.
And here's the thing. She drives the cart away with his body when he's stabbed. Like, so if there was a Swashbuckler sequel, she would probably be revealed to be like a real heavy hitter.
Yeah, she'd seek vengeance for the death of her certainly not lover. I don't want to picture that, and two, I don't think that was on the table. But I don't know, either that or you get like a pseudo Young Frankenstein follow up where she Frankenstein's Durant. She brings him back from the dead using voodoo fucking magic, man.
Yeah,
again, to quote Predator 2.
I've always wanted to have yet another sequel called The Return of Durant.
Yeah,
I've always
there's another Return of Durant.
If I had a nickel.
Who keeps making these Durants? I forgot that she is driving a cart when he goes away, and his last words close the film in perfect fashion. Basically, I think it was "Draw the curtain, the farce has ended," as he's falling out a window after having a cutlass thrown in his chest, and then the movie ends like 5 seconds later. It's like
the movie
announcing the end. Yeah, this is it. This is the end of the movie. Speaking of the torture, I did like the back wax visual gag. That was actually pretty funny, because Peter Boyle does strike me as a pretty hairy man, and he's getting his back waxed in that scene. The big fucking brawl in the middle of the movie, Levi. It initiates with our leading lady, whose name escapes me. It was Genevieve. I'm gonna mispronounce her name. Bujold. She's Quebecois, which explains the strange accent that comes and goes. It becomes very heavy towards the end. I didn't even notice it in the first third of the movie. I recognized her from Earthquake, which I watched for Brad for the Cinema Speak podcast. I enjoyed Earthquake quite a lot. I'm a fan of disaster movies.
Both of these movies, Earthquake and this Swashbuckler, were made because she was under contract with Universal. She did not choose either of these movies.
I kind of got the sense that maybe this, like, I haven't seen it documented, but I felt like maybe that was the case with Robert Shaw for this movie too, because Jaws, this, I don't know who made The Deep. I've seen The Deep. That was a dad movie. Dad sat me down to watch The Deep, and he was like, hey, there's going to be a moray eel in this movie. It's going to blow you away. I watched that movie. I was very young. I was like, this is a lot of diving scenes and a lot of business about a crate of morphine. And I'm just waiting for this eel. It's getting to be like 2 a.m. I still haven't seen this fucking eel. I passed out before I found the eel. So, but I was so fucking bored watching that movie.
Yeah, it is kind of funny for Robert Shaw because this is sort of a like a career that rhymes, because he pretty much got his media start as a pirate actor.
Yeah.
Because I think it was a show called The Buccaneers. Yeah. Ran for like 36 episodes on British television, and he was the lead. He was a lead pirate captain in that show. And it rhymes. He's back, baby. He's
in pog form.
He's back in pog form. And I found that very interesting. And Shaw was like, these action scenes that I just wanted, like, Jaws was a picnic because I could just sit and tell people things.
I mean, he was a terror on the set of Jaws. Like he and Richard Dreyfuss just went. He made it his business to just terrorize Richard Dreyfuss.
Why does everyone do that to Richard Dreyfuss? He seems like a nice enough guy.
He does. I mean, maybe he rubs people the wrong way, like when the cameras are not rolling or something. But he always did strike me as like almost like Henry Winkler-esque. Where it's like, how could anybody not like him? But yeah, Robert Shaw made it his business to just terrorize that young man. Also spent a lot of time hanging out with that fisherman fella from Martha's Vineyard, who's in several scenes in Jaws. He's the corpse in the boat that they find the shark tooth embedded in. That guy apparently just like supplied all the material for the Quint character. It's just like he just like latched himself onto that guy and just he informed the character so much. But yeah, I did read that as much as like he's very skillful at acquitting himself in the action sequences, apparently he wasn't a fan of them. Even like watching him run around in the jungle, it's like, this is a very physical guy. He seems like he's keeping the energy up. He seems like he's really in it, but I mean, I guess that's just some of that acting shit, because he like apparently behind the scenes he was like, nah, I'm not a big fan of what I'm doing right now. But he does it all really well.
The way he puts it is that it's not acting. He's like, I want to sit and have a conversation with the character. I would like to act.
Yeah. Sorry to interject, but
yeah.
Acting is one of those things that I think, I mean, you actually know this because you've done it. I haven't really. I've been on camera, I've performed, but I don't think I've ever acted. And there's I have actor friends in my orbit, mostly stage actors, but they also do film. Hopefully they're listening, and they're very talented. That's one thing that's always fun, is that like I have actor friends in my orbit, but they're really good. Like not everybody gets to say that, where it's like you have friends who do that sort of thing, and you go out to see them and you're just like, I'm here for you. Like I'm not here for the performance, I'm here for you. But no, these people are really fucking talented. Anyway, I want to say that there's like a discovery process in acting. They're like, especially stage actors, there seems to be this attachment to that feeling of discovery and of like the organic quality of the thing playing out, where it is slightly different every time. Like every performance given, every recitation of a line isn't a recitation, it's a reaction kind of. And it has a different flavor to it. It has a different cadence to it every single time. Whereas fight choreography is a dangerous thing, and it is recitation. It has to be precise because other people's health and well-being is at risk. And so that rote quality to it, or somebody who lives in the theater as he did, probably feels like this ain't it. Like this is me going through the motions this is me hitting the beats that I'm being like instructed to hit, as opposed to like finding it myself and making it something. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfect sense. And it's just like, and the other thing is that Shaw was like, in his 50s at this point. It's like Shaw was not like capable, clearly capable as we can see in this picture. Like, holds his own and you believe it completely. But I mean, you know, you're not 20 anymore. It's like when he was swinging around on a pirate ship, like previously he was in his late 20s, early 30s. And now he's like in his 50s doing sort of the same stunt work and that sort of thing. And you're like, yeah, I can understand why he'd be frustrated with that. Not only because his body is kind of starting to hold him back, but the other side is, yeah, one of these isn't acting, at least not in his mind.
Yeah. Yeah, and remember, this is 50s without TRT and HGH and all that stuff. Like, this is a natural 50s. Probably with a lot of alcohol. Maybe
yeah, baby. There's no peptides to take that away. Like, you are just gonna have to suffer.
Yeah, I'm sure he had bad knees, bad back, bad everything, honestly. Beans and toast and no HGH, not a good way to be. But yeah, I thought he was really excellent in the film in spite of all of his objections to the material. Like some of the duels in this film, like while on like a technical level, they're nothing amazing. There are some beats here and there that are smooth and really well executed, and also just the sheer breadth of them is very impressive. Like there's a beat during the final duel with Peter Boyle. Watch this movie if you want to see Robert Shaw and Peter Boyle have a 7-minute fencing match.
You do.
There's a beat at the very end of it where Peter Boyle seems to be feigning a heart attack, and you kind of believe it because they've been going at it for like 7 fucking minutes. It's like, yeah, I could totally see his heart exploding after all that. I'm kind of surprised that Robert Shaw's isn't. But yeah, just to see the level of athleticism and verve that he brings to his performance, even though, like I said, it's not like from a physical standpoint, it's not like an athletic marvel or like a technical marvel or anything like that. But I thought he looked pretty snazzy with a foil in his hand. So I'm just going to reference my notes. Back to that brawl in the middle of the movie, because that is like 10 minutes long, and it just keeps going. It goes. And it starts with a brawl between our leading lady and another woman who is wearing a necklace that she recognizes as belonging to her family. And immediately I started thinking of a movie from around the same time period, Airplane. There's that sequence with the two gals going at it. But it escalates from that, and it just turns into a fucking madhouse. Like everybody's fighting. There's a beat where a pirate who doesn't know our leading lady just like glances over at her, notices she's unarmed, is like, "Oh, you'll need this." He just tosses her a sword. He's just like, "Everybody's fighting. You should too." And they go up and down the stairs. People fall off the balcony. There's all manner of tumbling stunts. It's actually really fun. I like the bit where Robert Shaw throws a dude out the window and they jump onto the canvas as like an escape. But the real showstopper in that sequence, and it is like a 10-minute sequence, the carriage chase with the banana cart is not amazing or anything, but the high fall into the water is insane. That was an amazing stunt.
Beautifully done. Beautiful tracking shot. The freaking the stuntman, Shaw's stuntman for that, who like beautiful, goes ass over tea kettle twice, goes face down and dives perfectly into the water. I'm like, that was awesome. That was killer. Also, that's Chekhov's banana cart.
Yes.
Because that banana cart was established in the first scene. We see the banana salesman, we see the cart, and he's hawking them, and he has like a conversation about the pirates. So it's Chekhov's banana cart gets stolen, and then that is their vehicle to escape Durant's guards. So it's like setup and payoff.
They take it a layer further. Cinema. They take it a layer deeper too, because in that opening sequence, the banana cart owner is in favor of the pirates. Or no, and then they steal his cart. There's that reaction shot when the pirates are getting away from the hanging, like again, the banana cart guy, where the camera like pushes up into his face and he's shaking some bananas and he goes like, he does a Robert Dean. Yeah! It's the most insane reaction. But I'm glad it's there.
I kind of want a gif of that.
I'll see if I can make that for you, Levi. Yeah! Yeah, he's doing this with some banana.
Yeah.
But yeah, that wagon chase felt kind of like Wrath of God, with the car chase through the desert. Not as good as the car chase, but the payoff is worth it, because that stunt off the cliff is incredible. I like the duel with the girl on the beach when
yes,
when they're letting her go and she decides she wants to have a sparring match with Robert Shaw. They try to send her on her way with a sword, and she's like, "I'm going to use this fucking sword on you." That was a fun bit of like character interaction and character building via action. I'm sure Robert Shaw didn't object to that as much. I did catch that she, in spite of her not choosing this film, there's just a brief quote from her, the actress, saying, "Robert Shaw is a good man to know." I was like, that's good to know. That's really cool to know. So apparently, I'm guessing he wasn't treating her like he did Richard Dreyfuss on the set. There's some fun quotes from Robert Shaw in the film about being an Irishman, which in real life I do not believe he is, but in the character is. He says, "I'm not a gentleman, I'm an Irishman." And I think at one point he says, like, "I'm not a fool, I'm an Irishman." Like, that's some fun stuff. I'm just referencing my notes here. I say that's kind of an ugly monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that monkey is not photogenic. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
There's a monkey that they need to unlock a gate for them at a critical point in the movie that takes way too long. Where it's like, we just had a big action scene. We're like a sniff away from the finale with Peter Boyle, and we have this several minute long sequence of watching this ugly fucking monkey lift some keys off of a guy to unlock a door. Not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I did note that when it comes time for the big finale, the big prison break, I maybe, like, I'm not super well versed in the swashbuckler genre, but I've seen a couple of Errol Flynn movies. I was raised on The Adventures of Robin Hood, like quite literally. I did watch that movie quite a lot when I was a little kid. And this movie kind of reminded me of it ever so slightly, because a lot of Robin Hood stories tend to end with King Richard returning, basically. This one, like that one, I don't think involved King Richard being imprisoned and freed, but he does like return to subsume Prince John's position as ruler. In this one, though, we have the leading lady's father being imprisoned and being like the rightful lord of the estate, essentially. So that prison break kind of made me think of that, where there's the whole infiltration and the freeing of prisoners, and that's like this restoring of order, basically. But Peter Boyle has a line just before the final duel in the film. Something about like my only master or my lord is darkness or something.
Yeah, I'm like,
whoa.
And he comes down in his flowy, shiny purple shirt and his black pants with his ponytail black hair, saying, "My only master is darkness." And I'm like, is this going to have a supernatural twist all of a sudden? I'm like, is that why Angelica Houston is there?
So I need to play the visual reference card again. Please put in your mind Will Sasso. and replace it with this. This is Peter Boyle in Swashbuckler.
That is the widow's peak, ladies and gentlemen.
That's incredible.
It is premium.
Primo widow's peak. Vegeta-esque, if you will.
Absolutely it is. It's I was laughing so hard when I saw him for the first time. I'm like, this isn't real. I'm like, we have not been given a gift like this.
His character is wild. Like it goes so many strange directions. There's no consistency to it, but every time he's on screen, he's just, you can't take your eyes off of him. Finally master his darkness. It's like, what?
It's like if you took Guy Pearce from The Count of Monte Cristo, a little bit of Thulsa Doom, funny enough, because James Earl Jones is here, and just a little bit of Prince John. It's you combine those three together, especially Prince John's ambiguous relationship with Hiss. It's like you combine those three and you kind of have Peter Boyle's attitude, where he's very detached and kind of upper crust, but he's bizarrely aggressive about everything. And it's weird because Peter Boyle is obviously putting forward a performance, but his performance is one of a man who is above it all and doesn't care, because he's trying to make you think he doesn't care, but he in fact cares deeply.
Brings to mind Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder or something. There are layers to this.
Absolutely.
So I don't have a whole lot more to say about the film, but I would like to point out James Goldstone, our director, as I said at the top, veteran film and television director. Hard to think of like a signature product that the man made, but workmanlike, well-respected, worked with the best and brightest, just for fun connections, revolutions. Levi and I did a review a while back for a film called Wrath of God that Levi has since made a full-length feature about, essentially like a deep dive on for his own channel, Your Captain Speaking. Definitely check it out. If you want to learn more about Wrath of God and men's action fiction. Rita Hayworth, I believe, was that the leading lady in that one?
Yes.
So she was in the midst of dementia on the filming of Wrath of God, and Levi again goes into all manner of detail about the details of that and how everybody reacted to that in a time and in a setting when I don't think everybody was aware that that's what was happening. A lot of people seem to think she was drunk as opposed to demented. James Goldstone apparently directed a TV film in 1983 called Rita Hayworth: The Love Goddess, starring Linda Carter as Rita Hayworth, Wonder Woman as Rita Hayworth, as directed by the director of Swashbuckler. Just figured I'd throw that out there.
All right then.
Yeah,
I'll accept it.
I'm probably not going to watch that, but just the fact that that exists and connects to something that we previously talked about amuses me.
If I was to find a copy of it, I would throw it on. I'm not going to seek it out.
Yeah.
But if it comes into my purview, I will watch it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think I would do the same. Also, Mr. Goldstone apparently directed some Star Trek, TOS, as well as The Outer Limits. And our composer on this film, John Addison, is not a guy that I know off the top of my head, but in just looking at his credits, this guy put in some fucking work. He did A Bridge Too Far.
Oh.
That's a movie with a cast. Just look at the cast list for that one. Fucking crazy. Very, very busy fella. And his score for this film is also quite busy. It's not the most memorable thing, but it has melodies, it has themes, it has that right quality of whimsy and bigness that you would hope a swashbuckler might have.
I don't think a single minor note plays in this entire film. I would have liked a little bit of foreboding, just a little bit to kind of give the action a little bit of oomph.
Yeah.
It almost leans a little too hard into the whimsy from a score perspective, because there's a part of you that almost wants a little bit of push and pull and a little bit of danger, you almost want to drop in the score of Mask of Zorro over this to make it work just a little bit more. And the thing is, like, some of the choices, like the final fight with Peter Boyle, and I feel like the 70s got this, and I feel like we've lost this ability, is almost completely silent outside of character dialogue and just the sound of the swords. There's like no soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
Which is effective. It kind of reminded me of, totally different film, but it kind of reminded me of Hard Times in that way, where it's just like, we're just going to be dead quiet, and we're just going to let this play out. We're going to watch this happen, and we're going to watch these combatants, and we're just going to let it go. It's like, the score's good. It's fine. It's just, it needs a little bit more tension and a little bit more push and pull to it to really make the film, to make some of those action scenes give it a little bit more oomph, in my opinion. But it's like, there's nothing in this movie that stands out to me as the weak link. Everything is at worst serviceable.
Yeah, no, I would agree wholeheartedly, and I won't reiterate everything you just said about the music other than nodding my head and smiling and agreeing. In particular, when our characters are being captured, and Peter Boyle is menacing our leading lady and has her at sword point, and Robert Shaw has to surrender. Scenes like that could have used the aforementioned push and pull, the tension, like some foreboding would have been nice then. It is a little bit one note in how merry it is throughout. But yeah, on the point of the final battle being staged without a soundtrack, without music, that a little bit of a lost art. Fighting on film has a percussiveness, it has a musicality to it if it's done right, just through sound design, just through hits landing or being parried or blocked, or just like fabric rubbing against fabric, or grunting or breathing or whatever. You can learn a lot and also create a really compelling soundscape just through all of that. And this is a weird tangent, but we're doing it. It's my show, fuck off. Daredevil Born Again, Levi. Busted ass show. Kind of dog shit. I will watch everything they make. Just because. I like Old Hornhead. I don't give a shit. But yeah, busted ass show. Completely fucking busted. Dog shit. Almost absolute dog shit, with the exception of a couple of shining spots, usually involving the Punisher or action of some sort. But even that is a little fucked, because there's something fucked up with the editing, beyond all the behind the scenes drama and rewrites and reshoots and unbelievable amounts of ADR, where it's almost none of the dialogue is spoken with the speaker on screen. There's even a scene in that first season when Vincent D'Onofrio is sitting in a windowsill and there's a curtain conveniently covering his face, so every line is ADR'd. Vanessa.
You embarrass me in front of her.
You embarrass me in front of her. Yeah, it's literally that. The blocking is he wanders over to the windowsill so we can ADR the scene and figure it out in post.
We need to apprehend Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil. Daredevil. The Punisher. It's literally
Basil the Batlord.
Basil the Yeah, like almost every scene is that. Anyway, music. I've noticed there's a thing with the editing of that show that just drives me absolutely crazy. Is one, it has no chill. Like none of the scenes can breathe. Nobody has time to convey any thoughts because we're cutting around all the ADR. So it's like even in like really basic dialogue scenes. But the use of music is like, it's like they have zero respect for your attention span or ability to understand emotion and storytelling, because the music is ever present and is constantly informing the tone of the scene. It's like, just shut the fuck up and let me figure it out. Just trust me to figure it out. But there's just music pasted over everything. It's like, just fucking stop.
In some ways, the actors aren't allowed to give a performance.
You're not.
Because everything's ADR'd. So maybe the music needs to be there. Because it's not like I can tell by the actor's face or their tone or anything, because there's a curtain in the way.
I think it's that busted. I think the production and the writing and everything is just so busted that it's held together with scotch tape and popsicle sticks. It's maddening. And yet I will watch everything they make.
I heard the fight with Bullseye was fun.
Even that's not that great. Like you can find a clip of it on YouTube, and it's on a technical level. There's something wonky with it, where it's wrong. It feels wrong. There's a lot of use of smoke and digital effects to hide cuts that feel extraneous and not especially well executed. The fight with Muse in the middle of this first season is a pretty nice explosion of violence. That I will give them credit for. The use of music in that scene is gratifying in that we've been deprived of Daredevil for the entire season up to that point. It's like, when are we going to get to the fireworks factory? And then when it finally happens, at least they deliver somewhat. But even then, they're doing a thing that they keep trying to do that it feels like a concept that's being a little bit forced, where they're trying to they're cutting back and forth all the time because the show has no fucking chill. They're trying to parallel Kingpin and Daredevil, even when the parallels feel hazy and loose. So we're even during a pivotal action sequence, we're cutting to another action sequence. And it's like, can we just focus? Can I just see the thing? Like show, where is Daredevil? Show me Daredevil. Anyway,
there is Daredevil in your Daredevil show.
That's why I was saying, but anyway, just the use of music is, I would kill for just a quiet scene that breathes.
Well, it is so strange because Daredevil, like, I can think of the Netflix show and like just off the top of my head, just be like stairwell, hallway, the fight with Nabu. The fight with Nabu comes to mind all the time. The hand ninja, like with the chain.
Yeah.
Just because the beats of it are so freaking good. And it's one of the things that I actually used to explain, like, well, this is how a fight shows good ebb and flow. And fighting is exhausting for anyone that hasn't done it. It's like that moment where both of them are like freaking, they get up from the floor and they're exhausted and they're like, oh, just and like both of them like give each other a beat. Just like it's
very Jackie Chan-esque. I love that in Jackie Chan movies when they do like a complicated like 20 move sequence, of course all in one take from the waist up, and then there's that beat where they both like assume their defensive postures and then like they shake their hands out or something, like both mutually just like, fuck, that was hard. It's great. But There's a long-standing tradition with the Netflix Daredevil show of they have their it's like episode 2 or 3, the oneer. So the hallway fight, the stairwell fight, the prison fight in the third one is incredible, especially because Charlie Cox had to do quite a lot of that himself, and they do a lot of Texas switching, which is where, if you're not in the know, folks, it's where you swap an actor by using like something in the environment or a camera movement to disguise the swapping of actors. So they'll have like a complicated action beat, and then he'll fall behind a table or something, and then Charlie Cox will pop up from behind the table wearing the same clothes. It's classic in-camera trick. And Born Again, I actually don't remember in the first season what that was, but this one, they just had their big tradition of the oneer with a prison break sequence that on a technical, on a visceral level, it's pretty fun, but on a technical level, it's like it doesn't feel as tight or as organized, I guess. Like it feels like you're abusing the technology rather than planning the scene. Whereas like, as opposed to like the hallway fight in the first season on the Netflix show, where it's like, there's not a lot of technicals involved in that. It's just like really well structured shots and really well executed choreography. That's it. There's not a lot of digital stitchery of shots or fancy camera movements. Just like push-ins and pull-outs, basically. Whereas this one, it's a fucking behemoth of cuts and hidden cuts. Anyway.
Yeah, that's one of the things that strikes me about that show when it was in those initial 3 seasons is that it was never flashy.
No.
It's like a fine home-cooked meal. It's like a shepherd's pie. It's like it is well put together. The ratios are well done. Everything is just perfect as it should be. But there's no gimmick. There's no gimmicks. It's not trying to make you say, look how much work we put in or anything. It's just, it is. Daredevil is black background, white text. Where, yeah, it does feel like, at least from what I've seen from Born Again, they are kind of like, look at it.
It is a fascinating mess. I cannot recommend it, but I'm invested, and I find it fascinating to watch it unfold.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry the last half hour of this conversation has been nothing but Daredevil, but it's on my mind, and I had to get it out somewhere.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that it is something worth talking about, at least as far as like, if you want like a pretty fun example of like a mid-grade, like, because this is a B picture. It is a B picture. Yeah. Where even how we did fights in a B picture way back when. And this is how we structured fights with guys who are probably not traditionally like on-screen fighter. Like Peter Boyle is moving fairly well for a guy of his size. Like he's more convincing than I thought he would be as a combatant.
Yeah.
But so you have guys who are like probably not used to this type of material. And even then, this is how we used to shoot things. This is how we used to shoot fight scenes. This was the language of these face-offs. And I feel like this and Wrath of God are actually pretty good examples of how we used to do that, even in like mid-grade pictures. And it's just something that we seem to have lost, especially because so much of the fights in both of these films are wide. They're wide angles. Yeah. Just let them go. Like, let her rip. Go through the choreography and we'll just track you. We'll track you. There's no cuts. We cut to close-ups when there's dialogues or when there's a very specific shot, or like, you know, they knock something off a table and we want to see it go flying. But for the most part, it's pretty standoffish, and it lets you kind of get invested in the duel a little bit. And it is a lost art, and it's something that I feel like the Netflix Daredevil show does very well in that traditional style, that even then, that this reboot show cannot.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's one of those things that you most people probably don't think too much about, but you, on some level, I think you do notice it, and I think a lot of us do miss it. I certainly do. So I had fun with this movie, Levi. I had zero expectations because I had never heard of this movie until I saw that Kino posted that they were going to be publishing it on Blu-ray. It's kind of amazing given the cast that neither of us had heard of it. So I was a little bit worried that it was a complete stinker or something, like it was buried by time. But as it so happens, didn't make any money at the time. But as a film, it's like you said, there's nothing, there's no like weak link in it. Like it's approachable entertainment. And especially like in retrospect, like all the familiar faces, if you're into that sort of thing, put a smile on my face throughout the whole thing. I mean, seeing fucking Henry Kingi, Scorpio from Predator 2, have a sword fight with Peter Boyle looking like Will Sasso and Steven Seagal from Mad TV, that makes me smile. Baron Samedi laughing and throwing knives at people, that makes me smile. There's a lot that made me smile in this movie, so I'm glad we watched
it. And like one last bit.
Sure.
There are good character moments. There's like fun character things. Sort of the introductory bit of Shaw and Jones's characters is them making up dirty limericks together on the seashore about women they bed, and it's like all of it. It's fun. It's a fun character beat. This is something these characters do. This is something they do together. That their way, that it is about the wit, and it's about the joke, but it's also well constructed, but it's also something we kind of go back and forth with to try and make each other laugh. Like, it's a good way to define their relationship. And even like later in the film, we have a very like, this is something I miss about the 70s. We cast interesting looking people. There's this kind of like stout redheaded guy that has like this really crazy looking hair. And he has like this beat with another crew member throughout of this guy with this big black greased mustache, and he's kind of like swarthier in skin tone.
It looks like Captain Blue Albano is Mario.
Yes, he does. And so like we see them kind of palling around throughout the film, and then like when the redhead is in the stocks, he like there's this beat of him like sweating to break him out, and then near the end of the film they're like cheering as the castle blows up, but then they kind of like smack each other and they get all serious for a second, and then they look at the castle again, and then they start laughing and they start going. It's like you have these relationships between the crew members and stuff. It's just small little bits that keep the movie fun, that just keeps the energy up, that keeps sort of this like devil may care attitude in sight, that keeps the movie from becoming just a total joke or a total farce.
Yeah, no, that relationship between those two characters was fun. I think Moonbeam is the name of the redheaded guy. And Polanski is the name of the Mario lookalike. And there's that beat where Moonbeam thinks that Polanski got blown up in the castle, and he's like bummed. And then Polanski steps into frame, and he's like, "Oh, you're okay, buddy." It's like, oh, that's sweet. I did like his accent, not so much, but Beau Bridges being essentially like the park ranger to Robert Shaw's Yogi the Bear.
That's a great way to put that.
like he's constantly being confounded and harassed, never killed until like the end, which is actually kind of a grave moment where he like they have a really interesting exchange on the steps right before the final duel, where he's like basically like Robert Shaw's giving him every opportunity to walk away. He's like, I will kill you. I don't want to and I don't need to if you just put down your sword and walk away. And there's a quote, actually. I wrote it down. The first law of life is self-preservation is what Robert Shaw counters with when Bo keeps like rambling about honor and duty, basically, like to his station. And that's what he counters it with. And then I think Bo, he has a retort of some sort, and then I think he just gets stabbed, basically.
He essentially says defeat in the line of duty is sometimes better than the victory of self-preservation.
Heavy
Which
shit.
it's kind of crazy that I'm like, because in another movie, you turn that camera around and it's like, this is a heroic act by a cowardly, incompetent man.
Yeah.
That he's like, I know I can't win. And I know I'm not getting out of this thing alive, but I am going to stand my ground because it's my job. And it's kind of, it is kind of a weird beat before Peter Boyle descend the stairs and have his gay Richard Simmons boy lover get murdered in his lilac tights.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember that episode of Yogi the Bear when he stabbed the park ranger. It's like, damn it, Yogi, you keep stealing these picnic baskets. I will not stand for it. So, you don't have to do it, Ranger. I was told you to walk away.
All right, Boo Boo, you can eat him.
That was the end of the Yogi story. Like, you finally had to murder him.
That's just how it goes. It had to go one way or the other.
Yeah, immovable force, unstoppable force, immovable object. Yogi and the park ranger, Bo and Robert.
Truly. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I think it is well worth your guys' time, especially because it's free on YouTube. You don't even have to hook up your laptop to the TV and boot up Archive for this one. You could just go on YouTube and see this movie.
Yeah, you can watch it on the shitter on your phone if you're so inclined.
It's such a sadness.
Yes, it is such a sadness, to quote the late, great David Lynch. So this has been The Swashbuckler from 1976, as directed by James Goldstone. Check it out on YouTube or Internet Archive. It's fun. But before we go, hey, Levi, one, thank you for joining me today. This has been a blast. But two, how about you let our listeners and or viewers know where they can find you on the internets and your YouTube channel?
You can find me at Your Captain Speaking on YouTube. I talk about mostly men's action and that sort of thing. The latest episode was, like we talked about earlier, is covering The Wrath of God, which is not a book, but it's a movie that I felt has been unfairly forgotten. But most of the stuff is about books. Short paperbacks, less than 200 pages, written about characters you've probably heard of: James Bond, Conan, Zorro, Philip Marlowe, like detective characters like that. I want to encourage people to get back into reading. I think it is, as the media landscape, I feel like, is starting to get better. We're starting to get some really fun stuff. But for your day-to-day, pick up a book. And pick up a book that isn't going to, like, waste your time.
Yeah. This doesn't need to be a tangent. We can end the conversation. Believe me. But we're not going to talk about Daredevil again. But I've been enjoying learning about the world of AI writing. I've been actively looking for jobs, and I've actually seen job postings for exactly this phenomenon. There is a market, Levi, for smut. You can be a smut peddler. You can manufacture smut using AI tools, and these actual job postings that I found, in parentheses, list the top genres, the top lanes of smut. Levi, would you care to guess what these 3 lanes of smut are?
Shoot.
Rankable lanes of smut, you see.
Bestiality, I feel like, has to be one of them.
Werewolf.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
All right. Yeah. Werewolf. Cop.
Not quite. One more guess.
Authoritarian regime.
Billionaire.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Ooh, okay. Werewolf, billionaire, mafia.
Billionaire,
Really?
werewolf, mafia.
So if you could combine those 3 things, housewives everywhere.
Yes.
Purses open. Niagara Falls.
Wall to punani overflowing out the door. Not just pretty words, lyrics from a song called Punani Patrol.
Indeed. One last note on the film. The the front of the ship has a hen with an immense rack on it. is the front of the bloody cock.
Of the car.
Is a hen with just hooters, with the biggest set.
Blarney cock, so a hen with titties. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I was watching the movie and I audibly said, "Yeah, that's tits on a bird." All right.
Levi's only notes. Yep, that's tits on a bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, my show is called Catching Up on Cinema. You can find us on pretty much any podcasting service that exists. And hopefully you're watching this on YouTube. That being said, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will catch you next time. Bye.